Hi, this is Julie Hutchinson with Core Performance, and today's topic is how to have more energy, busting top energy myths, and what really works instead. It seems like a lot of people these days are looking for ways to have more energy. And it seems that the busier that we get, the more overwhelmed we feel, the more burned out we get. It seems to drain our energy more and more. So here's some interesting facts. Did you know that many adults over 40 are reporting that they are becoming more and more reliant on energy drinks just to keep going throughout the day? Maybe even that afternoon cup of coffee or eating those sugary snacks just to get that quick boost of energy. Adults over 40 are saying that they're feeling lack of motivation and they just can't seem to get going. They're not able to do what they used to do. A lot of people are saying that they're gaining weight because they're using food as a way to get more energy, lack of focus, overwhelm. So why is this? Why does it seem like more and more people are saying that they just don't have energy? Let's look at 5 of the biggest energy drains. Number 1, too much to do with not enough time. Now that causes overwhelm, that can cause burnout, which can lead to stress. Frustration, the feeling of frustration is number 2 because they have too much to do, too little time, which causes them to feel frustrated. Here's another really big energy drain: chasing shiny objects. And what I mean by that is you might have this feeling that you're in the middle of doing something and you're feeling that frustration, but then something else comes into your mind or somebody asks you to do something and it feels a lot better. So you're like, I'm going to go over here to change my state. I'm going to chase that shiny object, or I'm going to go after that opportunity because it looks really good and I don't really like where I am today. So that diminishes our focus, and we're thinking about all kinds of different things at one time. So chasing those shiny objects can be a really big energy drain. Number 4, lack of sleep, right? We've all experienced lack of sleep at one time or another. And we know that when we don't get enough sleep, we're exhausted the next day. And so we look for those things to supplement our energy, those sugary snacks or those afternoon energy drinks. And number 5, and this one might really surprise you: negative internal dialogue. Think about it. If you have a colleague that you work with, that maybe this person really triggers you, maybe they just really, really get under your skin, and you start to talk about internally how you feel about that person, and maybe they're working on a project with you, and that negative judgment or that negative internal dialogue, when we have that chatter, it can lead to what we call depleting emotions, right? You can get that frustration, that feeling of anger. That negative internal dialogue leads to those emotions. Those emotions drain us. And here's what happens. When you have these kind of energy drains, unfortunately, that can lead to some health consequences, right? It can lead, stress, let's look at stress. And we've talked about this in the group. 80% of primary care doctor visits are related to stress, yet only 3% of people get help. And so if we're having these energy drains and stress is a big piece of that, then that can lead to, unfortunately, if it happens over and over and over again, it can lead to irritable bowel syndrome. It can lead to having sleep disorders, obviously. It can lead to having all kinds of different ailments, which can go into anxiety even. And further down in this group, you'll see a chart of how stress affects the body. And you'll see all the ways that stress can literally wreak havoc on your body, your autonomic nervous system, which unfortunately can lead into some chronic disease states. So if you think about these energy drains, I'm going to ask you, what is that costing you? Is that costing you in productivity? Maybe it's costing you relationships where you're not feeling connected. And research has been showing that if an employer, let's say an employee has an employer has 1,000 employees. Here's what happens is more than $1 million is lost each year to fatigue. $272,000 due to absenteeism, $776,000 due to presenteeism, and an additional $536,000 in healthcare costs. And that could all be avoided with the optimization of better health, better energy, better focus. So when we think about increasing stress, a lot of the times the traditional methods tell us, go exercise, eat differently, avoid smoking, avoid too much caffeine. And yes, some of those things can work, but the challenge is they don't work in the moment, right? If you're feeling that energy drain, you're looking for something outside of you, like that afternoon cup of coffee, to give you that quick energy boost. Well, here's the thing. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way where you have to go do something in order to get that energy drain. So I'm going to share with you one of the quickest ways to get more energy. And this might surprise you. And I'm telling you that it works. And I know that it works because I'm going to tell you about one of my clients, Cindy. When Cindy came to me, she just said, you know, I don't really have passion that I used to have. And in the afternoon, I'm tired all the time. And I reach for the sugary snacks. I love the sweets because the sweet gives me that temporary high. And then I go to bed and I'm actually drained. I'm exhausted, but I can't sleep. And she says, I wake up and I'm tired the next day. And so in that not being able to sleep and feeling tired, it just is this repetitive cycle. So something that I'm going to share with you here in just a minute is something that she practiced over and over, so that when she would feel these energy drains, she was literally able to stop the energy drains, like plug the energy leaks, right? You plug it, and so it doesn't drain your energy anymore. And so I'm going to share with you, first of all, about the different domains of energy, because there's 4 main domains of energy. And when we look at these, and I'm going to share my screen so that I can share this with you visually. So the 4 domains, and we call these the domains of resilience, right? If we look at the domains of resilience, the first one is physical, second one is mental, third is spiritual, and the fourth is emotional. Now, a lot of times when we are looking at our energy being drained, we look at the physical and we look at what can we change physically to increase our energy. And that's where we're dependent on food and energy drinks to help us. Now, when we look at the mental domain, that's when you have that negative internal dialogue, right? When we talked about that as one of the 5 energy drains, and the 5th is that mental activity, that negative internal dialogue, where you may be judging a person or saying negative things, not just about that person, but the negative things about yourself. Oh, how come I just can't get this? Why am I not smart enough? I'm so stupid. How come I can't figure that out? When you have that negative internal dialogue, that affects you emotionally. We can feel that on an emotional level. That also affects us physically, because when we have that, it bounces off the emotional, then we start to feel it physically in our body, which affects our spiritual domain. The spiritual domain is about being tolerant of other people's viewpoints, having compassion for other people. So all these domains affect one another. And I'll ask you, what do you think is the domain that has the biggest influence on all the other domains? And you may be looking right there at the middle, and the middle is the emotional domain. The emotional domain affects all the other ones, and I'm going to lead you through an example right now of why that is. So if you're watching this right now, or maybe you're watching this on the replay, I'm going to take you through an exercise. And in this exercise, I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I'm going to invite you to think about something that is stressful in your life. Think about something that causes you that feeling of the energy drain. So when maybe you're thinking about a person at work that when you think about them, you have some stress, and I want you to feel the energy drain. Maybe it's not a person, maybe it's a project. Just with your eyes closed, think about this thing in your life that causes this drain of energy. And as you're thinking about it, I'm now going to invite you to notice, what is the emotion that you're feeling right now? Are you feeling sadness? Maybe it's frustration. Maybe it's anger. Notice the emotion. As you're noticing the emotion, now I'm going to invite you to notice, where does that show up in your body? For some of you, it might be tension in your neck and shoulders. Maybe your heart is racing really fast. Maybe you have a lump in your throat. Notice where that is showing up in your body. And then when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. As you're noticing that, that was a sense of how you can see how the domains affect one another. So we thought about something, the mental domain. It affected the emotion that we were feeling, whether it was anxiety or frustration or whatever it was. That affected the physical. You felt it somewhere in your body, which then affects the spiritual of how tolerant we are with others, or how connected we are, not just with others, but connected with ourselves, connected to our hearts. And so when you think about energy drains in your life, the number one thing that you can think of, first of all, is, what is my internal dialogue? What am I saying about that person or that thing or that event that's happening? What am I saying about that project I have to do? I can't do it. It's too hard. So number one, notice that. Notice how you're feeling when you say a certain thing. Number two, what emotion are you feeling? The emotion is what's going to drain us the most. And then number three, notice how it shows up inside of your body. So if you're noticing how it shows up inside of your body, that's draining you on a physical level. So when we look at energy, it's not necessarily, let me reach for something outside of me, like that drink or that food, or go exercise to get my energy back. Those are all things that are on the outside. Now I'm going to invite you in the future, when you feel that drain of energy, stop, take a deep breath, and just notice, become the observer. What am I saying to myself right now? What am I feeling? How is it affecting me? How is it affecting me physically? And how is that affecting my connection with other people, and even to myself, or my connection to my heart or to my source? As you notice that, the next step is to make a new choice. What do I choose to think and feel in this moment? Because you have a choice every single moment of your life. What is my choice to feel in this moment? And I empower you to make a choice that empowers you and empowers the people around you. And when you make that new choice, I'm going to invite you then to match the emotion with it. So you're aligning head with heart, making a choice from here and then aligning an emotion that goes with that. The quicker you can do this, the more you're going to plug those energy drains, those energy leaks. And I promise you, you're going to have more and more energy each and every day that you practice this. If you would like more information on this, I'm going to put the link to a webinar, 5 steps to biohack your physiology, the physical, to decrease stress and overwhelm, increase energy and productivity by up to 40%. Yes, 40%. So take some time to watch that webinar. And if you'd like more information on it, reach out to me and I'm happy to set up a call with you and share with you how you can have more energy specifically. So great to see you all. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next live. Bye-bye.